Hi, this is Alex from Groovy Entertainment. Today we're going to record to play for you. Today, record Sleeping Beauty from 1951. So let's get started.
Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, a most beautiful princess was born. So happy were the king and queen, they proclaimed a grand feast to celebrate the birth of the child. From all parts of the land, the people came marching with their gifts.
Hail to the king, here are gifts that we bring to the child. With gold for a crown, crimson silk for a gown, from a shop and a low we come marching. Hail to the king, here are gifts that we bring to the child. With wool from a sheep and the wheat that we reap, now the shepherds and farmers come marching.
At that time, there were still fairies in the land, and the king and queen wanted to invite them too. But at the last minute, the cook came running to the king.
Oh, Your Majesty, we can't invite all the fairies to the feast.
Why not, may I ask? The fairies have always been good friends to my people.
But there are 13 fairies, and we have only 12 tiny golden dishes from which the fairies can eat.
Only 12 dishes, eh? Well then, we will invite 12 of the fairies.
And the 12 fairies came. And while the people of the land marched and feasted in the great hall of the palace, the fairies ate from the 12 tiny golden dishes. Then they came to where the princess slept in her cradle to give their fairy gifts. I give her the gift of sweet sleep, whispered a fairy of gold, and softly she sang over the sleeping princess. And I give her a flock of silver birds to sing to her when she awakes, said a fairy of silver. She waved her wand, and a flock of silver birds flew into the room singing. And I give her a Prince Charming to marry, cried a lilac fairy. He will be the most handsome prince, and she will be the most beautiful princess in all the world. But even as she spoke, there was a great shout. The air grew dark throughout the palace, and the 13th fairy, whom the king had not invited, appeared suddenly before them.
I am Caterbute, and I am very angry because I was not invited to this feast. But now I have come, and here is my gift for the princess. When she is 16, the spindle of a spinning wheel shall prick her hand, and she will fall asleep for 100 years.
With these words, she vanished. The next day, the king called together the 3 wisest men of his kingdom to ask their advice. How can we prevent the princess from pricking her hand, said the king. Yes, indeed, said the 3 wise men. Let us think about it. And the first wise man thought about it.
I have it. We'll send the princess far, far away.
No, said the king. The second wise man thought even longer about it.
I have it. We'll watch the princess night and day.
No, said the king. The third wise man thought longest of all about it.
I have it. every spindle in the land must be destroyed.
Yes, said the king. And immediately messengers went forth to the four corners of the land to see that every spinning wheel was destroyed. The king's order was obeyed, and the sound of spinning was heard no more. Well, the years went by, and the baby grew up to be a most beautiful princess. Every year for her birthday, the king and queen made her a ball. But of course, on the princess's 16th birthday, they remembered Catabute's evil wish.
Today is the day when Catabute said our daughter would fall asleep for 100 years.
Have no fear, my queen. For 16 years there has been no spindle or spinning wheel in the land. Let the ball go on, for no harm can come to our princess.
And the ball went on, and the friends of the princess danced and sang together.
If you'll be my partner, then sing 1, 2, 3 and come dancing with me. Hear bells ringing through our singing, as everyone counts 1, 2, 3.
As the guests danced and sang, the princess wandered away by herself down an old path in the palace garden. At the end of the path, she came to a door in a tower she had never seen before. She opened the door and began to climb the winding stairs. Nearer and nearer as she climbed came the sound of a spinning wheel. At last she came to a room at the top of the tower. There sat Catabute, singing and spinning.
Spin it so, round and round, heel and toe. Spin it so, round and round, now you go. Faster, 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 like a spinning wheel around it. Faster, 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 till you tumble to the ground.
Faster and faster whirled the spinning wheel, and closer came the princess. At last she touched the whirling point of the spindle. It pricked her hand, and she fell to the ground. But the good fairies still watched over her. Oh, what can we do, the fairies wondered, now that Catabute's wish has come true? Well, her wish has come true, answered the Lilac Fairy, and the princess must sleep just as she is for 100 years. But remember, my own fairy wish must come true, too. Let all the princess's friends fall asleep by her side, and the 100 years will pass like a dream. And then Prince Charming will come to awaken the princess. So the princess fell asleep for 100 years, and the good fairies put everyone else in the palace to sleep as well. First, the Lilac Fairy touched the king and queen with her wand.
Oh, I feel so sleepy.
I'm so drowsy. I can't seem to keep my eyes open.
The fairies touched the nobles and their ladies, and the musicians of the ball, and they fell asleep. They touched the soldiers in the palace, the cook in the kitchen, the cat on the doorsill, the dog in the yard, and they all fell asleep just as they were. But how can we be sure no one will come to awaken them before the 100 years are over? Asked the fairies. We will cause a deep forest to grow about the palace to hide it, said the Lilac Fairy, and we'll surround the palace with a great hedge of thorns so that no one can get through. Still, many people remembered their beautiful princess and told about her, and many a prince tried to find her. First came the cleverest prince in all the world.
There must be a path somewhere through this forest. If there is, then with my cleverness, I'll surely find it. Though the forest may be deep, I know I will surely find the way to go.
But the good fairies guarding the sleeping princess answered him, and it seemed like the echo of his own voice.
Which way?
This way, start all over this way.
Which way may the right way be? Which way?
This way,
Which way?
you'll discover
Which way?
someday if you follow me.
Hide and seek is still the game I play. Yet I know I'll surely find the way.
And on went the prince, following the fairy voices, until the night came, and he fell asleep in the enchanted forest. The next prince was the jolliest prince in all the world.
As for a great prince not being able to get through a forest, that is the funniest thing I ever heard. Ha 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 ha, it's so silly. Ha 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 ha, willy-nilly. Oh, she's in the fairies' keeping. I will find her where she's sleeping.
And on went the laughing prince. But the good fairies brushed leaves and branches against him. They tickled, and he laughed louder and louder and couldn't stop.
Briars prickle, branches tickle, ever in the fairies' keeping. Let the princess go on sleeping.
And he would have turned around and gone back if he could, but tired at last of laughter, he fell asleep. The third prince was the bravest prince in all the world. He was out hunting with his men when he heard of the Sleeping Beauty.
Come, my men, into the forest. Follow me. Proudly riding, we will find the Sleeping Beauty. Horses gallop, through the forest we will go.
But the fairies found a way to drive them off. They imitated the growling of lions and tigers and all the wild beasts of the forest.
On, my brave men!
But the horses were frightened and ran away, faster and faster, until at last the prince slipped from his horse and he too fell asleep. And so many years went by, until at last a great prince came from far away over the sea. I have heard of a Sleeping Beauty, he said to everyone he met. Can you tell me where to find her? One day he met an old man at the edge of a forest. Have you ever heard of a Sleeping Beauty? Asked the prince.
Yes, I have heard of her. It was a story my grandfather told me. Deep in this forest she lies asleep.
Will you take me to find her?
Oh, not I, my prince. Many have gone into this forest to find the Sleeping Beauty, and none have returned.
Then I will go alone to seek her.
Into the forest went the prince, and followed the path on and on. At last he came to the palace. And here is the garden, he whispered, and here is the door in the tower. He went up the winding stairs and came to the room where the princess lay sleeping. So beautiful was she, he leaned over and kissed her.
Awake, my princess.
The princess awoke. The magic spell was over. And now everyone in the palace awoke, as though they had fallen asleep only a moment before. The king awoke on his throne, and the queen beside him.
I've had such a pleasant nap.
Think of my falling asleep during the princess's birthday ball.
Throughout the palace there was sudden hurry and bustle. The dog awoke in the palace courtyard, the cat on the doorsill, the cook in the kitchen. The soldiers awoke in the palace. The musicians awoke and went on playing. And the friends of the princess awoke dancing and singing, just as when they had fallen asleep.
My partner, then sing 1, 2, 3 and come dancing with me. Hear bells ringing, who are singing. counts 1, 2, 3. Now each two a partner. Then sing 1, 2, 3 and come dance one and all. Hear bells ringing to our singing as everyone joins in the dance at the ball.
And here is our beautiful princess, cried the guests at the ball. But who is the handsome prince by her side? Who can he be, wondered the king and queen, until they remembered the wish of the Lilac Fairy. It must be Prince Charming, they cried. The wish of the Lilac Fairy has come true. It is Prince Charming, said the Lilac Fairy. Dreams now are ended, and the prince and princess will live happily forever after.
Dreams now are over, there's sunlight and laughter. Prince Charming has found you forever and ever, never live on.
So that was Sleeping Beauty from 1951. So if you like, subscribe, share, and comment, have a groovy day. Another video come out real soon.